Here are quick steps to a world of immigration possibilities via Chatimmi app. Download Chatimmi app from Google Play Store or Apple App Store. Launch the app and follow prompt to sign up. Enter your full names, usernames, email, and password. Reconfirm your password and sign up. Confirm the verification sent to your email. Please check to confirm and complete your registration. Now you are verified. Congratulations, you are connected to a world of immigration possibilities with access to seasoned professionals. Join our community today. The UK government to block dependent from accompanying international student from January 2024. The United Kingdom is one of the hottest destinations. Hi guys, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thank you so much for joining us from everywhere, all around the world where you're connected, and you can definitely watch this broadcast. It's such a pleasure to be live here on Chatimmi YouTube platform for the first of its kind forced check-in session right here on Chatimmi. If you have been following Chatimmi for a while, definitely you know what the check-in session is all about, basically. So quickly, let's do some sound check. Can you hear me? If you can hear me well, please drop a comment in the live comment box so that I can see and we can be very sure that you can hear me. If you can hear me, please drop a message in the live chat. I know we have some of our listeners and viewers watching already. Can you hear me? I would love you to drop it in the chat. I would also like to check from my hand here so that we can be sure that we're together. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, very well. Thank you so much, Zainab Peter. All right, welcome and welcome. This is the check-in session right here on Chatimmi, and of course, as displayed on the screen, my name is Ayo. But before we get straight into what we're here for today, which you already know about, it has been on our Instagram page and our Twitter page for a while now, that we're definitely going to be having a conversation today. We're definitely going to be having a conversation today. So we're live on YouTube. So I would love you to do something right now. If you are not subscribed, I was going to say follow, but if you are not subscribed to this YouTube channel, I would love you to do that quickly right now. Just tap on the subscribe button right on your screen. You find that button, it has a bell. All right. So if you're new to YouTube, welcome. Okay. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel and make sure you turn on notification so that whenever we are live like this again, or any other time we drop any content, you will definitely, be the first person, to catch up or see that on the screen. So I'll let you do that quickly. If you are still not subscribed to this channel, please do that quickly. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and most importantly, like this video so that we can get more people to see this. Even when this live broadcast is off, when we are off here, the video would still be live there on YouTube. I would love you to also like, and most importantly, share this video, because the message we have for you today is very important. My name is Ayo, and quickly, let's also talk about Chatimmi app. Okay, if you are watching or hearing about Chatimmi for the very first time, it's a social network platform. I must say, it helps you connect with other people with immigration goals like yourself. And aside that, it also provides, for you immigration solutions, live consultant, always right there on the application. So you're struggling with something about your, immigration, or JAPA as we call it in Nigeria today. You're struggling with that, and you need to, be around the community. Trust me, there is a community of people all around the globe, not just in Africa or in Nigeria, that are moving outside of their location right now. And so that is what we have done on Chatimmi. we have created a large community, of people right there on that, platform, coming together, chatting and sharing. And the most important part of all of that is the fact that we have professionals, right? Professionals. Nothing beats, talking to a professional when you want to, travel outside of your state, your country, or your continent, as the case may be. Nothing beats that. And that is what Chatimmi is right here for. So it's a friendship zone, it's a love zone. You're not going to be having any dull moment, I can assure you. So that is right on the Google Play Store. If you use an Android phone, just go straight to Google Play Store, search for Chatimmi. You will surely find Chatimmi. All right, download Chatimmi, install Chatimmi, sign up, follow all the prompts, and of course, you're fine. And also, if you use an iPhone, you would also find it right inside the Apple App Store, right? Go straight, download, install, and of course, join this great community. And so today, it's such a pleasure that we have, someone on the line. She's already in the studio, and I'm going to be bringing her in a moment. It's everywhere. Tonight, we're going to be talking about survival and realities of a dependent in a fast-paced nation like the United Kingdom, all right? And in one of our ads, it was mentioned there that the United Kingdom is one of the hottest destination to jackpot to in the world today. I am speaking from Nigeria, and I can tell that Nigerians are also on that table when it comes to jackpot to the United Kingdom. But there is one thing that nobody will tell you, all right? Nobody will tell you except for the people already there. It is sweet, it is beautiful, great pictures all over social media. But of course, we need to get ourselves, right in there. Talk to someone that lived there, someone who is also a dependent right there. Listen to their story so that whatever mistake they made, we will not make that mistake. So I think we should just give Chatimmi that thumbs up. I mean, for bringing this, solution meeting or solution broadcast tonight. So on the call with me tonight, I have Prudence Apinoko. Prudence is a content creator. She's a mom, all right? She's a wife. And of course, she's also a YouTuber. She's on YouTube right here. If you're very conversant with YouTube, or you love to watch family-related content or faith-based content, or sometimes you just want to see Prudence cook with her family or go to work or do shopping in the UK because she makes the UK look so beautiful. I mean, but tonight, she's just going to be telling us all of the beautiful things, the challenges, and all of that. So tonight, I have on the channel, with us this evening in Nigeria, because I know it is about 2 p.m. or let's say 8 minutes past 2 p.m. In Canada. All right, so I know it's not evening in all over the world where everyone is connected to this broadcast tonight. So good to have you on the call tonight. Prudence, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much, Ayo. How are you doing?
I'm very well. I'm very well. I'm good to see you. Just like I mentioned, I mean, you make the UK look so beautiful. You make it look so beautiful. And I can imagine, because a lot of us live in that la 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 land, we just believe the beautiful things. And I know content creators say that a lot. All right, that sometimes you need to ask questions. Don't just believe the beautiful things that you see alone and the likes. So if you're wondering, this is Prudence Apinoko again. She is a content creator, and of course she lives in the United Kingdom with her family. And the most important thing about all of this about Prudence is that she is a dependent in the United Kingdom. I'll
Yeah.
let her, explain all of that. But Prudence, I would like to start with, let's just dive in, quickly. I'd love you to, share with us your immigration process. Did you just, because that's the beginning and it starts in the mind. All right. I'm tired of wherever. I mean, I have been following your channel for a while. So I know when you used to live in Dubai. I know
Yeah.
when you came back to Nigeria. And then I know when you went to, the United Kingdom. But of course, I would also like to know, has it always been a goal for you to want to relocate with your family to the United Kingdom? Let us know the procedures. Did you write any exams and the likes and the likes? So we are all for it tonight, Prudence. Take it away.
Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you and I can see you too.
Sorry, a call was coming through. Okay,
All right.
everyone, it's always a honor to share. Thank you for the opportunity to share. It was before this call. I was just having a conversation with someone where I was telling them that I think that it's either people are not paying attention, or everyone just wants to experience for themselves. I tell people that people have gone ahead to experience on your behalf. So experience is not the best teacher. Yes. So are you there? Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. I can hear you.
Okay, so I always tell people that experience is not the best teacher. Others have gone ahead so that we can learn from them, And so the UK was not always in the picture for us as a family. I've always had that dream to live abroad, and it took years and years of trying to, sweet talk my husband to buy my idea, knowing that the kind of life that I wanted to live, I don't think that I could have. I'm not saying that I would not. There's nothing God cannot do that you cannot achieve it back there in Nigeria, but I just think at the time I had the thought that it would have been easier, to be able to do that abroad. And at first we had tried America for 2 years. That didn't work. Things were also going bad, so we went to Dubai. And then on getting to Dubai, things were picking up. We're just about settling down, and then COVID happened, and I was obviously pregnant then, and me not employed, my husband not employed, we couldn't have stayed back there. Plus, it was a time where the Dubai immigration was saying everyone has to go back, and my company had folded up. So, um, of course, I was on their visa, and once you don't have a visa, you can't stay. So we didn't want to go through that struggle with a baby on the way. We had to go back to Nigeria. And of course, my husband is, I'm a woman under authority, so it's like let's all go back. And then we went back. It was very tough because in the midst of that we lost the baby. And um I think, when you're going through loss, it was like that season was just one that I had the loss of my job, loss of my baby. I don't think I was able to find myself, to get to do anything at the time. And I was always complaining. My husband himself was complaining. And that was also a time where we were praying and trusting God that God would give us direction. I think a few months into us losing the baby, after losing the baby, my husband comes up and says, oh, he doesn't think if we're going to have more children, he doesn't want us to be there anymore. And we're just praying about it. Before then, we had an auntie who had also come up with the idea that, oh, she thinks the UK is a good place. But me, I've heard stories about the UK. So I've never been a fan of the UK. I didn't like the fact that they used to always say, oh, UK people they are stingy people. UK people don't have money. Or UK people don't like spending their money. Oh, UK people, they use all their money to pay tax. I've never been there before. I've never lived there before. And I had just, taking up all those things I'd heard, and I was moving with it. And then my husband, we went to retreat, we came back, we had prayed, and he said, babe, God is directing us that we should go to the UK. I'm like, we should go to the UK. Say yes. UK. How are you going to do this UK thing? You don't even have money. I don't have money. How am I going to raise the money for, the whole, because of course we know that the UK immigration is tons and tons of millions, so. And of course, I'm a woman under authority. All right, let's do it. And then we started the whole
Right.
process. And because we've had bad experiences with agents before, we agreed not to use
Mm.
an agent. And of course, my husband is a lawyer, and he's like, he's going to sit down, read about this, and he's going to do it himself. So he sat down and he did the whole process himself using his mobile phone. And no, we didn't write any exams because so the school we chose, so that's one thing we wanted as well, because we know that if we're going to go through IELTS year, it was going to be a very long process because of course you're going to prepare for it. Sometimes you may write it and you may not pass. So we wanted a school that your school sats would serve as, your English proficiency. And we found the school where we are, and then that's how the whole process started. So we came in on the student visa route, and my husband is doing his master's in law, and I'm a dependent under his visa. So yeah, we've been here for 1 year and six
Hmm.
months now, by God's grace.
Hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
It sounds so interesting. I mean, it sounds like all of that happened just in one day, and it's just beautiful how we tell stories, and it will just all encompass everything and makes it
Yeah.
so easy. I'm going to come back to the process again because I know that process sometimes can be very ambiguous, which is one of the challenge that a lot of
Yeah.
people have, especially moving from Nigeria. But I wanted to explain what it means to be a dependent again. What
Hmm.
does it mean to, technically by that name, it's somewhat feel like I'm just going to go with my husband to the UK and be chilling. After all, I'm supposed to be depending. I'm supposed to be depending on him.
Just depending on his visa.
So I,
Finished.
I want I want you to break it down. What exactly does it mean to be a dependent on a visa, at least in the United Kingdom where you live with your family?
Oh, being a dependent is it's a big responsibility.
Mm,
It's a very big responsibility, especially if there are certain circumstances that surrounded your relocation. Say, for example, there are people who have taken loans to travel. Being a dependent means that you'll be the one to
mm,
work more, because the student, of course, has the restriction of 20 hours. And then for you, the dependent, you have unlimited
mm,
hours. So, of course,
right.
you are choosing to be a dependent, okay, this is the responsibility ahead. So I'm not going to generalize because that's not my practice. I'm going to speak for myself. So for me as a dependent, I had my baby 8 weeks, and by 8 weeks I was already back to work. I was already working. So if I wasn't a dependent, if I was a student, maybe I'd have been able to say, okay, I'll sit home and nurse my baby for 1 year. But by 8 weeks, I had to hit the road because I know that if I'm not there, we're gonna struggle. And so
Mm,
hugely,
mm,
especially if you are. So for us, let me speak from. So for us, is the fact that we're not in a very very financially stable place that we can say, okay, oh yeah, you sit at home, don't do anything, let me just be going to school. So um the running of the house expenses, major bills, they are mostly going to be on me. My husband, yes, of course he would work, but then he's working mostly to pay off his school fees. So it's just majorly you being here to support the students. You're here to support the
mm,
students in what capacity that you
mm,
can. So for those who are very, very
mm,
buoyant, have come, they may not have to go through that. But then
mm,
for who are not the likes of us, we have to, work extra hard
mm,
so that they will not send us back to
mm.
Nigeria.
Hmm. Let me still stay with being, it's dependent in the United Kingdom. I know you mentioned, but how many hours, since you're sharing your own story, right? Because it seems, of course, immigration cases sometimes is not always the same. It's not always the same for everyone. But how many hours can a student work in the case of your husband, and how many hours can you also work as a dependent too?
So for my husband, he can work just 20 hours.
20 hours in a day or in a month or in a week.
20 hours in a week.
Okay.
So 20 hours,
Mm,
so that can be broken down into 5 hours per day. But the UK doesn't work that way. So most of the jobs are long shifts. So you see, like if he has to work, he's working 10 hours, 10 hours, 2 days.
mm, mm,
For
mm.
myself,
Well,
I
mm,
because I also have children. I also have my ministry. As I also have, other commitments. I make sure that I'm not working more than 40 hours. But I'm
Mm.
eligible to work more than that. But it's my preference. I do just currently I'm even just doing 37.5.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Thank you so much, Prudence, for that. Okay, now let's get to getting a job. I mean, unemployment is not just a thing in Nigeria. Unemployment is not just a thing in Nigeria. And, being that I'm speaking from Nigeria, that's why I'm saying Nigeria. So I want our viewers to also know that Chatimmi is not just restricted to Nigeria, it's all
Yeah,
across the world. All right.
yeah.
But being that I'm speaking from Nigeria, I know that a lot of Nigerians, a lot of us, and you can also attest to that when you were here, would complain so much about unemployment. When we hear Americans also talk about unemployment or we see their data is shocking. Now, looking at even the United Kingdom, when it comes to unemployment, the statistics is also, over the roof there. Now I now imagine, a dependent in the United Kingdom. How easy? Because when people want to jackpot now, we're talking about, oh, I want to go and get a job. I want to go and get a job,
Yes.
right? So let's hear from you, Prudence. You got to the UK and they were just rushing you back to back.
Okay, so for me, I always tell everybody that my case with other people is always different. Things always work for me, you know. My husband just dropped the comment in the conversation. So love, you just threw me off. So for me, my own experience, I've not struggled for a job, thankfully. By the grace of God, I've not struggled for a job. But then you also know that I have my Dubai experience that I brought here, which is also like it takes you up a bit, top, not like it's not top tier, but it just gives you, and plus the grace of God, takes you up there, So there's a place where if you don't have certain skills, it's going to be very difficult because of course there are certain roles that are hot cake. Let me use that word. There are certain roles that are very, very marketable here. There are certain roles that are sought out. Like right now, tech is what is really happening here. And then you can also have all the skills, and then your CV is not good. It's not matching all of the jobs that you're trying to apply for. So it's a mixed thing, but I know that there's an unemployment pandemic going on right now. So this for students is even worse because they want people who can work full time if they eventually employ you. And then so if you're a student, if you're a student, it's hard. And for some people, some of them are here, their dependents are not here with them. Some have come with the fact that okay, I will work small and then I'll go and bring my family. And that's where you see people are here 5 years, 6 years, they've not been able to bring in their families that they've left. So the employment thing, if you have really great skills, you may not struggle. But for those who don't really have high skills, it's been a bit of a challenge. It's been a bit of a challenge. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Thank you so much, Prudence. Now, since you're talking about skills, let's digress a bit. Can you tell us some of the skills at least? Let's learn something so that when we're looking at jackpotting, we know some of the skills to look out for. I know you mentioned some digital skills, which, of course, we know that digital skills connect the world. But are there other skills that you probably would recommend, at least from your own worldview? That what, if you are coming to the UK, so that you don't have to sweat extra 10 gallons. Maybe you get these skills, right?
Well, for some people, I think some one of the easy jobs to actually get here. Something I've also, I've observed is the social care, the care, personal care, and social care. That's quite easy. But then also they want to know that you have some form of experience.
Mm.
So for some, I met a lady who said that she had to go and do like like that auxiliary nursing thing back
Right, right.
in Nigeria.
Yeah, yeah.
Lady had to
Mm.
go do that. And there, some will say, oh, I've cared for my aged parents. or maybe I cared for my partner, you know. I remember once my husband had said, because every time we've had children, my husband has been the one who catered to me. So he had
Mm,
also, used that as an experience to say, oh, I have this experience,
mm,
So, and then for the tech roles, you are looking at roles like data analysis, business analysis. In fact, data analysis and business analysis, they're even giving people sponsorship. They can give
mm,
you sponsor, especially for those like very big companies. And you have like web developers, you have like project management, even as far as to recruitment,
mm.
HR roles. Those are
Wow.
some of the, so just because I do not have interest in some of those other skills, I've not really taken note of them. But I know that tech is really bubbling right now. Software
Mm,
engineers, web developers, and all of that. For me, my interest is data analysis, and project management, which I'm
mm,
taking on currently because, of course, I want to upscale from where I am. I did study geology and mining in school, but obviously it was just because that was what was available at the time. That's why I done that. So as I've grown over the years, I've realized that these are the things that currently interest me. So I'm now learning, to up myself on those skills so that I'll be able to work as a
mm.
data analyst here in the UK, which is a really, really good skill here.
Mm, mm. Let's talk about some of the things that you actually put in place before leaving Nigeria. I mean, on social media, we probably must have. I know some of our viewers may have also seen comments like that. People getting stranded. When they get to other nations, which we can't exclude the United Kingdom. And sometimes I get worried about people leaving their comfort in Nigeria only to get to a place and begin to struggle with accommodation and begin to struggle with the likes. Did you put these things in place before getting in? Somehow, was it somehow attached to your visa? Let us into that part at least so that we can also have it. So,
No, accommodation is not attached to your visa. There are even those that are coming with jobs. Some of them are still struggling with the accommodation thing. So for us, while we were when we were coming, my husband had done like Airbnb. And
mm,
we're amongst those clueless people that thought that, when you just come in, it's just easy to get a house because we already saw houses, we've seen areas we'd like to stay. I even saw school because I'm an over planner. God is delivering me, and I even found a school. I'm like, babe, this is where Edward will go to school and all of that. But lo and behold, when we came in, we were shocked. One of the things I think also because of bad experiences, they now brought out a rule that you have to take a house and pay like 6 months upfront. Especially when you are not, a UK citizen, you are coming in and you just say, I'm a student. That student alone, it's already like, ah, red alert, red alert, red alert, So we had that challenge. We had to move from Airbnb, and I was heavily pregnant. We moved from Airbnb, and when we came in, we had just 1 month's rent, hoping that as you come in like this, you're going to be picking money from the road now. You just, it shocked us. It was a major shocker, and we had to start calling, please, oh, the money we have, they said it must be 6 months, so even landlords, you have to be offering them that, please, I will pay 6 months, they will give you the house.
mm,
So
mm,
accommodation doesn't come with your visa. You have to, of course, sort that out. But the school does have like school accommodation for those that are coming in as single people. Yes, you can. And I think that we didn't explore that. Not I think we did not explore that option because, of course, you can't live in the school accommodation with your family.
the
So
family, right?
yeah, and even with that one, you also have to book for it. You also have to pay ahead for it. So it's a two-way thing. A lot of families, many people were even sleeping on the streets in the UK because
Mm,
there
mm,
was no, even when those that even had the money to even pay, some of them were not getting the house.
mm, mm.
Depending on the location.
Wow.
But where we went,
Wow.
Middlesbrough, it was a big challenge. Like I had influx of people coming to me. Prudence, please help me with house. Prudence, please help me with house. And I'm like, I'm not a house agent, and it's not allowed for you to really, most of them want to see you in person. They want to see you in person, do the viewing in person. They want to. So it's not that easy for you to, take accommodation on behalf of other people, because they do like all these credit checks. It's a lot of process. So yeah.
Hmm. Wow, wow. I mean, living through all of this, even when you expect that you are going to a better country and everything will just be, we
The
just
truth
be
is that,
fine.
there's one thing I always say, that growth and comfort don't go together. And that's
Hmm,
something that we as human beings, I think we often forget on our journey. So
hmm.
if you're coming into a new place, of course you need to remove that pressure of yourself. I'm starting all over again. That's something
All
that
over it.
that's something
Hmm,
that's given me peace over, or in this journey. This couple of weeks have been very challenging for us, and I've reminded myself, Prudence, growth and comfort don't go together. Prudence, you are on a student visa. You are students in this season. If you
hmm,
look at if it's when you're looking at it like, oh, jackpot, 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 that's when you become burdened with a lot of things. But pace yourself. You are a student. This now, you know, is school time. I was telling my husband the same thing. Focus on your school, because we want you to come out. We have not spent all those how many million, to now come out with bad grades. Focus on your
hmm.
school.
Yeah.
Students right
Right,
now. So
right. Right. I remember that I saw one of your story where a man had graduated and the wife wore the gown, and I can imagine because it's
hey,
just like you said, we are in school right now, even though you are not technically going to school,
I
but I
am.
mean school
I'm
life. You
full of passion.
Because the school life usually is not really is not really the best, really, when it comes to comfort. So
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can definitely imagine. But Prudence, let's move to let's go a little personal, as it concerns your journey to the UK too. I mean, I think less than a year that you got to the UK, if I'm not mistaken, at least by following your channel, you had a baby. All
Yeah.
right, you had a baby, and
Yes.
for a lot of people, I know I was in your comments at the time, and I was just reading all kinds of comments. I love to do that a lot, and it's going to be shocking for a lot of people. You just moved to the United Kingdom, even though some of us didn't know how you went there, whether it was student visa or not. But now you are in the UK. But I mean, now that we know, your husband is a student, you are a dependent, only for you to have a baby, and all of that. Walk us through the health insurance, all of that connected to the status of your visa, which is being a dependent.
Yeah.
How did
Yeah.
all
So
of that
so
go? Is it something possible that someone should try from Nigeria, and how
yeah.
did you do that?
Yeah. So the thing is, there's this thing that they do here. They give maternity exemption.
Mm,
So once you are pregnant, you have maternity exemption as a student. I think that as anyone who's here in the UK, if you are here legally, you have maternity exemption, which means both your every even if it's water you will drink in the hospital is free till the baby is 1 year. My maternity exemption just finished when Eliora turned 1 year. And plus, when you're also coming into the UK, there's the thing where you pay for health insurance, IHS. But I also told people that, you know what, if we're going to even calculate how much we paid for IHS, it does not cover, because I had a C-section, and it was actually a major C-section, because I had a few complications. So if I was going to, if I had come from Nigeria to do, this delivery, not as a student, not on this maternity exemption, I'm sure I'd have paid up to the tune of £15,000. But then I went home discharged. I didn't pay any money. I had like zillions of scans, I would call it. The healthcare was very, very amazing throughout the journey of my pregnancy. Every time when I had emergencies and I called the ambulance, before I even dropped the phone, they're there already. They really, really took care of me, throughout. I had like, me and my husband, we nicknamed the letters they were always sending to me. My midwife, who said love letters. They were sending me letters, I think every 2 days, one letter about one thing or the other. So I really had amazing, maternity care. Yeah.
Hmm. Wow, interesting. Maternity exemption. I can see a wow, 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 wow in there, and I know
I
someone
think
is
that for
thinking
us,
right now.
that's the
Maybe
highlight. I think if even if
yeah.
nothing else, at the end of the day, if for example that at the end of the day we have to go back to Nigeria, I think one
Hmm.
thing that this journey would always be, a part of me, a part of my life would be the fact that I had my baby girl here. And in 7 years also, she's also going to be, there's a way their immigration thing works. In 7 years, she's going to have the passport and as a citizen here as well. So that's one thing I've always wanted to give to my kids. So, and I achieved it.
Hmm.
So I'm happy about that.
Let me reiterate and ask again: this maternity exemption, is it open to everyone as a dependent, or
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
you have some kind of
Yeah.
special grace?
No, 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 no. It's open to everybody. It's open to everybody.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's
Okay,
open to everybody.
so
I don't know if
if
I don't, as at this time, I don't know if anything has changed though. But
okay,
yeah, as
right,
at the time I
right,
had
right,
my baby.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Now let's talk about. I mean, one of the theme of our meeting tonight,
Yeah.
which is survivals and realities. I know we've been talking about realities.
Yeah.
Somehow we've also been looking at survival skills. But how much of this, how much of a fast-paced condition is it in the United Kingdom? Just like you said before you went to the UK. Trust me, I still work with UK returnees, and sometimes I always feel like they are a bit somehow with money and the like. And I know that when you work so hard, for your money, it's just us a bit about the United Kingdom. They say it's so fast paced. How fast is it? And how challenging is it
Well,
to survive and live in that?
it is very fast paced because before you close your eye and hopefully bills have already come just that, just that. The only thing we don't pay for here is the breath that God has given to us. We thank God.
Hmm.
you know, it's I also say that it also depends on the city you stay. So, for example, when we're coming, because we knew for a fact that it's not like we're one of the Omo Babalowo people. Them we didn't have a lot, so we had to look for a city that wasn't so expensive. But then the perks of choosing those very inexpensive cities is also that those are the places where unemployment is key. Like, so it has its ups and down. And
Hmm.
when you also go to the very so for example, you come in and you start from London, it may be good and bad. At the beginning you may struggle because London is very expensive. There are all those other big cities are also very expensive, but then you can just come and then you start working at once. You can
Hmm.
start working at
Hmm.
once. So um it's actually a fast-paced place because, and then recruitment here. So for example, you get employed today and you're happy you've gotten a job, you are looking at 6 weeks before they will do all their DBS check, everything, 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 everything. And that's also one of the disadvantage of a system that works because,
Hmm.
for example, now the employee in Nigeria, that Monday you can resume your work, you understand, but this place you have to go through all them data check, a whole lot, they call it DBS, a whole lot of checks, a whole lot of checks. They are checking if you're a criminal or not. They are doing a lot of checks, which takes a long time. And many people, sometimes before all of that, you are incurring bills because, of course, when you come in you want to start earning, so you're not changing naira to pounds, which we did for a very long time. our money
Mm.
even finish at some point against us,
And you
And
said you are not a mobile. We're changing naira to pounds.
uh, he follow for the journey now, and we had sponsors by the grace of God. So it wasn't like, I think that largely one thing that's also helped us, one thing has also helped us in this journey is that specific people have stood as, our Aaron and Horse, that have said, oh, till you finish from this school, till you're stable, we're gonna be here to support you guys. It has also helped us. Every now and again, one person or the other must come and say, oh, Prudence, God has sent us to you guys, just, if not, it didn't day like that, you know yeah.
Mm, mm. All right, let's talk about the community. Settling in. I
Yeah.
know settling in a strange land can be really challenging. I'd followed your daughter's dedication at the time, and it kind of
Yes.
feel like you people, landed well, maybe in good hands. But I wanted to do two things. Share with us your, settling in story. Did you find a Nigerian community? And again, I know what's on the street. A lot of Nigerians, especially because I am speaking from Nigeria again, a lot of Nigerians will think that when you get to another country, I can begin to behave anyhow. I want you to also, two things. Tell us your settling in story, and also share with us the implication of not doing things the right way. This is a
Now
country,
you will go
unfortunately,
home
where I
now.
live.
You will go
This
home
is a
now.
country where I live, where if someone still skips, jumped the street lights in my just today, a driver just drove off like that, and we're just like that here. So tell us the implication of not doing things the right way there, either immigration fraud or coming in the wrong way. Because I also saw a comment there, about legal things, and I must also state that Prudence went to the UK legally. All right, if it's not legal, we probably wouldn't have her on this call tonight. So tell us your settling in story, and of course the implication of not doing things the right way in a developed country like the UK.
Okay, so of course you know that I'm a YouTuber. So the minute I said that I'd relocated, those that already observed from the environment were ready to. I remember there was a particular family. She has become like a sister to us here. Her name is Chinwe. Immediately she saw us at the city center. She's like, "Oh, Prudence, this is my city. You guys need to come to my house." And she hosted us. And for us as a family, we've moved a lot of times, and the first place we always go to is a church. I tell anybody, if you're a Christian, if you go to a new place, the first place is a church, because that's your first family. And our church community, even I have no words. I have no words. The role that they've played so far has been one that it's only God, that orchestrated it. So our church community has been amazing. When we came in here, we settled nicely of our church because of our church. And also, I have a very very I call my YouTube community blessed tribe. I have a very blessed tribe that they hover around me with love. So it was really a very very good landing for us. It was very good, thankfully, so I'd say. And then for doing things the wrong way here in the UK, I don't think anybody that is normal, except you have brain problem. That's why you do things anyhow, because we all know that the UK government, they don't play. So you cannot do things anyhow. You will go home. They will just bundle you to the airport.
You will just go home.
They are not arguing it. You will go home. If you drive anyhow, you will eat a fine, or your license can even be seized. You will not drive again. uh Even to crossing of road, you don't cross road anyhow. You don't throw things on the road, because it's very very key that you follow their set out
Mm,
guidelines. Otherwise,
mm,
you are going to
mm.
give yourself fines. Even if, as far as your children, you don't flog children here.
Hmm.
A colleague of
That's
mine,
another conversation.
a colleague of mine got into that trouble that right now they are dealing with social services. He's at the
Hmm.
point of saying, "Oh, he's going to go back to Nigeria, or they will take his children from him."
Wow.
So even the first time we came, we met a family who they took her children just because she spanked the child, and I think the charger, maybe she used charger to flog the child, and you know how children's skin is very sensitive. The charger mark was showing on her body, and when she had gone back to school, she said, "Oh, my mommy flogged me with the charger," and that was it. She had a newborn baby on her hand. They took the baby. There's been a lot of cases like that. So you just do things. I tell people that if you know you cannot follow the UK government, especially for parents who are used to always, beating their children, just pack your bag, go back to
Go
your
home.
country, go home. Your Nigerian passport is still valid, so just
Hmm.
go home.
Hmm.
That's just there's no this thing. Just
Hmm.
that's it.
Wow. I mean, I thought I was the only one who got that you will go home, and it kind of it brought a lot of memory with boarding school, where you commit a major offense and they tell you you are definitely going to go home. And trust me, nobody, we don't want to go home.
Yeah,
We don't want to go home. All right.
yeah.
Let's talk about okay, before we go to the next question, let me quickly mention that if you're still watching, I know our viewers are increasing. If you're watching right now and you have not downloaded Chatimmi app, I would just advise that right after this, you download it immediately.
I can no longer
More
hear.
real life
I
are
can.
going to be having access to consultants who can and trust me, this is 100% free. So you're going to be talking to a friend for free, someone you meet right there, share this with you. I just imagine if that's your colleague that flogged the child with maybe they know, right? But sometimes when you have people emphasize certain things, it will remind you again and again and again and again, and you're definitely not going to do that. Let's talk about education. Being that when you got to the UK, you moved with your son, and I also noticed that in one of your videos, you had mentioned that taking him to school at the time was like traveling. And I remember that you said there used to be like a school across the road or something, and I was just wondering why did you go to the school across the road? Why
Okay,
do I
so
have
for
to take the time? So walk us through that.
it was
That's
preference. It was preference.
mm,
It was
mm,
preference, but we later changed him. So when we came, there's a way the school thingy work here. You choose three schools that are close to you. They don't like you to put your child in a school that will be very far. So they work according to your postcode. Let's say according to your streets. There are always
mm.
schools either in your street or the next street, walkable distances, or at least one bus trip. So at the time when we came in, we had found a school that was just close to us, but that was our temporary apartment then. So when we moved to the permanent place, Adriel didn't want to change his school. And for me and my husband, we have this thing where we always choose, well, so far it's good. We'll let him have his way. And he really liked the school. Plus, you just brought your child all the way from Nigeria to this place. He's happy with somewhere. It was more like sentiment for us. We were feeling guilty. Is this child really happy that we brought him in? This child, they didn't ask us to put him anyway. We'll say we're giving him a better future. Is this the better future we want to give him? Does he want to go through all of this? Because we're also worried with the fact that how is Adriel going to adjust, you know, having that all his life he has never left Nigeria before, and then we just brought this on him. It was a very big, so because he said he was happy being there, we didn't want to change him. So by the time we moved to the new place, there was another school just opposite the house. We eventually changed him because when the baby came, my husband was going to work because school was on holiday. He was working full time because obviously I couldn't work when we arrived till the baby arrived. So it was just we had to now beg him, and we changed him, and a little bit of grumbling and bribing here and there with some sweets and favorite cartoon. we got him. So for schools, though right now getting schools have become a very big issue because of the influx of immigrants. Of course, not only Nigerians, the Asian people, even people from Russia, all of that. The schools are now very filled up because they try not to take more than 20 to 30 persons at most in a class. So yeah, that's it.
Let's talk about the cost. How expensive it is to, take children to school. Because I know in this part of the world, we like to talk about the cost of things. I mean, even the scripture says we should count our cost. So, how expensive,
Well,
how expensive is it? Yeah.
expensive is relative. Oh.
Hmm.
Expensive. It's not. There are cities that, and they're also the age where they are that they don't pay. So from 0 to 5, they don't pay bus fares. So the bus is free. But now that Adriel is 7, we're having to pay for him, and it's not more than £1.20.
Wow. Mm. Wow. Wow. So let's take in some comments. Before we move on, if you have comments, questions rather. Even though we are still going to Chatimmi app to take questions, right? But for privilege of those that are watching right now, maybe I just take one or two questions. Any questions directly at Prudence, drop it in the comment section. I'll display on the screen, and we're definitely going to, read that out, and she would answer that. But let's talk about a working mom. All right, you have a baby now. I still call her a baby because she's not a toddler yet. You know, you have a
He's a toddler
baby.
already, there.
She's a toddler already. Okay, okay, okay. She's a toddler already. Okay, so you have a toddler, right? You work. I know sometimes you work from home. Your husband is going to school. How do you combine these things now? All right.
So I tell everyone that if you're coming here, that's where you will see the strength of unity. You see the strength of unity, and for
Where
I and my
that will just
husband.
be helping you to, what, how do you deal with? Okay, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So for I and my husband, right from time, we sat down to say, okay, we knew that this was going to be the life. So we made sure that all the plans that we were making were around, caring for the kids. So one person has to always be with the children. My work is, so my husband goes to school on Tuesdays, and that Tuesdays I don't work. And then so the remaining days of the week I work, and then he will be with the kids while I'm at work. And while he's at work, I'm with the kids. So it's just, we've just created a balance. It's exhausting sometimes knowing that that's the only thing you have to do. Plus, childcare here is very expensive. We're looking to put Alera in daycare the other day, and the cheapest we found was £59 per day. And we're like, how much are you earning per day that you're going to pay 59? So because of course for her age, she doesn't get to go to school till she's 3. And even at that 3 years, she doesn't have full time like Adriel will have. So if you want to do like put her in school, which will be nursery or they call it daycare by yourself, you have to pay for it. So
So let's take this question. Zionite Peter says, "What happens after your husband is done with school? Is he going to work? Is
okay,
that how
so
it? Yeah, yeah.
so that's up to him. I don't know. Besides, it depends on what he wants. I mean, my own is just to follow. I don't know what he has decided yet, but of course, we're trusting God that he gets a good job. He wants to work as as a legal practitioner. We should also take a lot of exams and all of that. So, God willing, whatever God's will is, we're always going to follow. We intend, our prayer is that he gets a good job, so that
Hmm.
of course, we need to make the money back now. But then
Yes,
again,
so
well, then again,
that's what is very
whichever
important.
whatever God's plan is for us, we'll follow.
Hmm. We say a very big amen to that. Ladio Wolabi said approximately 50K per day, 50,000 naira per day. It a bite body for Nigerians. It will shock you. Okay, so let's take this question. What's the process of your daughter getting the British passport? She's not up to 7 yet. And of course, I must also say that Prudence is not an immigration consultant. She's only speaking as a dependent in the UK. However, let's hear, maybe since you have a toddler, you probably are looking at staying, in the UK, longer, and you would also like her to get the British passport.
Yeah, of
What are
course.
the things that you've been able to dig out with the process?
So the only information that I know, well, my husband, he's the one that does all the digging as the lawyer. My own is just to ask him, babe, how far? Wait till you don't find out, you know. So we for a fact I know that, of course, her status right now, she's under us, just as Adriel is. But we've also not done any visa for her because many times they say when you leave their status blank like that, it makes them give them the passport faster. But I don't know how true that is. But I know that once she's 7, we can file for her. That one is not even negotiable.
Hmm, hmm. So let's take this one. Being that I said I'm just going to take three. When you're done, okay, when your husband is done, do you guys get a work permit,
Yeah,
and
so
that
there's a
will keep you
post-study
guys?
work visa. There is the post-study work visa, which is for 2 years. So we can also do that if by the time it finishes, we don't have sponsorship yet.
Hmm. All right. Interesting. Now let's go back to where we started from so that we can, call it a wrap on this live so that people who are going to come back to watch will not have to stay too long,
Yeah.
here. I know right now in Nigeria, a lot of people would write exams, say the IELTS and the likes. If you're going for your master's, you probably write a GRE. Some would write an SATs and the likes. But I want to know that process that you followed just with your, I think your school starts that pass for your English proficiency. Please explain better, and that would be the last, and then we'll let you go.
Yeah. You know that every school has their criteria. So
Mm,
for the school we chose, their criteria was if you don't have the IELTS, you can use your WAEC. So that was what we used because my husband also had like really good grades in his English results. So and that was good enough to show English proficiency.
mm, mm. All right. Thank you so much, Prudence. Let's chill a bit. Let's see if we have one more. Okay. I think I can still accommodate one more. Let's see if we can take one more comment, or question rather.
If there are more questions, we can also
More,
answer.
okay. More questions, more questions. Can we take more questions? More questions. Before that comes in, how did relocation affect your family life? Did that affect your family life in any way? Culture shock. Being an African woman, you probably must have given your son one or two boots in Nigeria, But how did that affect family life? And having a little child now, you had your first child in Nigeria. There's
Yeah.
a process with that. Now having another one in the UK, you can't even scream at this one. She's growing now. You can't even shout. And maybe your first one had all of that. And because you're not a new mom, you already have it. And so it's not difficult to switch. Show us, tell us, so that we can prepare.
So me and my husband, because of our backgrounds, we have this thing where we say that okay, we'll be doing gentle parenting. Of course, sometimes your patience run out. I will not say that every now and again we've not spanked him. We have, but it's not something that was so used to us. Then when we got here, it was difficult. Was already a thing for us. Even now, we still have measures of discipline. But Adriel is, though a strong-willed child, is not hard to parent. Of course, because he's also a very godly child and he knows that disobedience is not part of the kingdom that we're associated with. So,
Hmm.
so
So
yeah.
someone is asking here, which city in the UK do you live in, so that when we come in, we can come and knock at your door and say we
Well, so
don't
my
show.
husband's school is in Middlesbrough. My husband's school is in Middlesbrough.
Hmm. Okay, so that's I think that's okay for that one, right? Does dependent visa work for only husbands and wives? Can two friends, from what you know, can two friends say male and female they are dating and they are relocating together? Can they work that visa? Tell us what you know.
No, no, no. You have to be husband and wife, and husband and wife that you can prove that even your
Oh, that you
children, you
can
have to
prove.
prove that they are your children. If not, they would
Hmm.
not give you the visa.
Hmm. Okay. So if you are trying to do corner,
Many
I
people they are
I hope.
doing it to but me, I don't know about it because I don't
Mm,
used to do
mm,
corner things, so I don't know anything about corner things.
mm, definitely. Okay, I'm trying to check if we still have more. Does the dependent visa work for? Okay, for only husbands and wife and okay. I think we're done here.
Husband's
Thank you.
wife and children. So if you have 5 children, 8 children,
Five children.
10 children,
Okay, if you have more
yeah.
children, you can also come in with more children. Is there
Yeah,
like a
I
number
know.
of
I know a
children?
family who adopted their house help because of the situation of childcare here. They
Right.
adopted
Right.
their house help as one of their child, and they're all here. So they
Hmm.
both work. They both work, and the lady just help take care of the kids.
Hmm. So how much? I know expensive is relative, right?
Ah!
Uh, but how much? How much on the average? Should one budget? Should one
Oh my
budget? Someone,
god,
someone just sent me a
it's a lot
question
of
on.
money. It's a lot of
Someone
money. So
sent
it
me a
also depends
question.
on
Okay. Someone sent me a question
the
on
school.
WhatsApp now about proof of fund. I would also like you to mention the proof of fund, answer the proof of fund thing. But how much should one budget? You know.
First and foremost, the first thing starts with what school are you going? How much is the school fees? So UK schools range from, I think the cheapest school right now would be like 18K. I think that's the cheapest. So where we are, when we came, school fees was about 7575. That's how much? That's 15K. When we came, school fees was 15K, but now school fees has gone to either 16 to 18K now. School fees has gone up, and I think that for different courses, different amounts as well. I spoke to someone who is in another city. Her school fees was 22,000. So it depends on where you are going. So your school fees first. Okay, let's use ours for an example now. Our school fees, which is that amount. Of course, we didn't pay everything at once. We're having to pay in installments, and
Hmm.
right now, Seth, we almost even got into some issues with our school fees payments, but God on the throne came through. So
Hmm.
it's it's so you're looking at your visas, your health insurance, your visas, health insurance. What else did we pay for? Flights. So you'll be looking at roughly proof of fund for a family of three like ourselves. Budget then was about 15 million naira.
Hmm. Hmm. 15 million naira, at least at the time, which was about 2 or 3 years ago.
No, that was last year.
Last year. Last year. Okay, one more question. For your husband's school, is your husband's school, is it in the same city and is the city cheap?
Yeah, yeah, it's cheap. The only problem I always tell people is the fact that unemployment is a big issue there.
Hmm. 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 Okay, so 15 million. I just imagine how much roughly the budget will be now. Now that God is in the field, it's very possible. Your immigration dreams are very valid. So in case you're thinking of traveling and moving to another country, I mean, if students who wanted to look at the pocket size at the time, I'm sure they probably would still be living in Nigeria. All right,
Yes,
but it is
yes.
very
So
possible.
It is very,
We
very, very
started the
possible.
journey
All
with
right,
we
if you're
started
still
the
watching,
journey with
yeah,
zero. With zero. We didn't have a
wow,
dime in our account. Even when admission came, we didn't have a dime in our account. So
wow. Journey of faith. All right. Quickly, let's quickly tap the subscribe button if you're watching. We want to, let's get more people to subscribe, like this video, and even share this video. I mean, I've learned so much tonight. I have learned so much tonight, and I believe that you have, learned one or two things too. So, Prudence, before we go, just give us one last thing that you would want, aspiring immigrants, you know, or dependents like yourself, one thing that you would all, several other things that you want us to know before, we let you go.
yeah, okay. So what my the final words that I'll say before I leave will be very careful. Choose wisely. Make sure that you are talking to professionals. That's why the Chatimmi app is there. For me to be associated with anything, it has to be excellent because I will not just involve myself with anything. So thankful for this platform, Chatimi. So you guys can totally trust them. You can speak to the professionals they have. I've seen people come to my DM say that they were working with scammers who were posing as agents. They took their money, no admission, or they gave them fake admission. They came to the UK, and at the border, because of course getting here is one thing, passing the UK immigration border is another thing. You have to prove, show me the credentials you have come in with, so be careful. And also put God, I don't know, unless you're not a Christian, if you have any other thing, but for those that are believers, Christian, always put God first, because it's in Him that we live and move and have our being. Is the one that will lead you through the journey, is the one that will hold your hand, and also to remove that burden off you. Because I know how many times I felt like, this journey, I can't even lie to you, I've felt overwhelmed severally, where I feel like I'm not even pulling my weight enough, I'm not doing enough. The other time it was me saying, oh, school will soon finish, I've not even saved any money. you know there was something my pastor was saying, that there's a place where you are, you have to give yourself a proper estimate of where you are. We are students right now. Focus on that. If surviving is what you have to survive now, let that be what you are surviving now. Plan. If you have room to save, save, because of course we know that immigration, there are a lot of uncertainties with it. You can be told tomorrow, now it's time to go back to your country. You're not going to beat them or force them to say you must stay. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much, Prudence. One question before you go, so that we can leave here. If your daughter gets her British passport, will you automatically get it as well?
No, I don't think it works that way. I don't think it works that way.
But will that give you some, like some kind of urge to maybe
Well,
come in and go out
yeah,
somehow?
yeah. I think that when she becomes 18, she can file for us. I don't want to
Oh,
give wrong information, but I think that's how
yes.
it works. I think that's how, but of course, if my daughter is going to be here for 7 years, definitely would have also gotten our ILR, which is indefinite leave to remain. Yeah, so that's it.
Thank you so much, Prudence. Thank you so much for
No
joining us
worries, no
and doing
worries. It
this
was such a
session
honor to do this. Yeah.
tonight. Thank you so much. We're so glad to have you. Let's say thank you to Prudence, just the same way we do on our application. Let's say thank you in the comments. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your time. We love you and we wish you all the
Thank
best.
God.
We
Thank you
wish you all
so
the
much.
best.
Thank
More
you. Thank
money,
you. Thank you.
more money, more money. Plenty money,
Amen.
plenty money, plenty money.
Amen.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Prudence. Thank you. And God bless you. Thank
Amen.
you. All right. Thank you so much. And that is our session tonight. That is our session tonight on Chatimmi app. Thank you so much. We're going to our application right now. Let's go to Chatimmi app right now. So I want you to go straight. At the moment we're done with this video, let's go straight to Google Play Store. If you use an Android phone, if you use an iPhone, go straight to the iOS store, the Apple App Store. Search for Chatimmi, all right, the same way it is written on the on YouTube. Search for Chatimmi, download Chatimmi. A prompt video will come after this. All right, please follow the prompt video and, of course, download Chatimmi. And we wish you all the best. So we're still going to be taking more questions. And, of course, Prudence will also be on ground to answer more and more questions to your mama calls, like well said. So let's head over to the general discussion platform on the Chatimmi app. Thank you so much for watching. And remember to also like, subscribe if you haven't. It is wrong if after learning so much on this channel tonight, you are still not subscribed to this channel. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment. Thank you so much for watching. And of course, we'll see you in the next one.
Here are quick steps to a world of immigration possibilities via Chatimmi app. Download Chatimmi app from Google Play Store or Apple App Store. Launch the app and follow prompt to sign up. Enter your full names, usernames, email, and password. Reconfirm your password and sign up. Confirm the verification sent to your email. Please check to confirm and complete your registration. Now you are verified. Congratulations, you are connected to a world of immigration possibilities with access to seasoned professionals. Join our community today. Here are quick steps to a world of immigration possibilities via Chatimmi app. Download Chatimmi app from Google Play Store or Apple App Store. Launch the app and follow prompt to sign up. Enter your full names, usernames, email, and password. Reconfirm your password and sign up. Confirm the verification sent to your email. Please check to confirm and complete your registration. Now you are verified. Congratulations, you are connected to a world of immigration possibilities with access to seasoned professionals. Join our community today.